When you're moving to Austin, you are looking for a community that is going to check most, if not all, of the boxes on your list. And this is different for everyone. So in this video, we're going to check out a few of the different communities in Austin and how to narrow down the one that best fits you and the life that you want to live here. Hi, I'm Tiffany Moore. I'm a local realtor and broker right here in Austin, Texas. I put out videos every week talking about what it's like to live here, to work here, to really just enjoy life in Austin. So if you want to stay up to date on all of that, as well as the growth and the development that's going on, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. And if you're thinking about moving out here and you want to talk about where you should live, what community would be right for you, I've got a link in the description below. Go ahead and book a call with me. I'll help you pin down what community you may want to check out based on what you're looking for. So here are a few questions I ask folks when they are moving to Austin. One of the biggest ones is, where are you going to be working? A lot of folks are moving out here for work. Now, some people are just planning on working from home, which is awesome. Obviously, that doesn't really help you narrow down the neighborhoods that you can live in because you can literally live anywhere. So we'll talk about some other questions to consider if that's the case. But if you do have an office and you're expected to be there pretty regularly, like 4 to 5 days a week, where you work is going to play a really big role in figuring out where you should live. So a lot of folks that move out here are coming from California, New York, Seattle, places that have horrendous traffic. And you're doing at least an hour commute, sometimes up to an hour and a half. But we don't want to do that anymore. You're moving to Austin for a reason and to start a new life and have a better life. So a lot of folks will try and keep their commute down to 30 minutes or less, which is totally doable in Austin. So if you're going to be working downtown and you want to keep your commute to 30 minutes or less, I kind of made some borders that you should be thinking about. So check out this map, and within these boundaries are the areas that are going to take you 30 minutes or less to get to and from the office if you leave your house at 8:30 in the morning on a weekday. So if we're going to go as far west as Bee Cave, we're going to go as far south as Kyle. To the east, our border is going to be Elgin, and to the north, our border is going to be the Brushy Creek area of Round Rock. So check out this map, and this is kind of what we're going to be focusing on when we talk about where we should live in Austin if you have to commute to downtown 4 to 5 days a week, because we still want your life to be enjoyable and we want you to have a reasonable commute. So think about these boundaries when you are considering, where should I live if I have to commute to downtown? So this is a pretty big area to pick from. There are a lot of different communities, a big variation of homes. There are a lot of different things to pick from in this huge general area. This does pretty much exclude the new growth that's going on in Georgetown and Leander and Liberty Hill. Those are going to be more than 40-minute commute from downtown. Those are going to be much more further north than the Brushy Creek Round Rock boundary that we've set. Probably an additional 15 minutes from that area. So if you're fine with a 45-minute or 1 hour commute, that may not be a big deal, especially if you're only planning to work downtown 1 or 2 days a week. But if you're going to be there regularly, 4 to 5 days a week, you may want to be somewhere closer. So it all just depends on your personal preference. It sounds like, oh, sure, 40 minutes to 1 hour, no big deal. It's no big deal once in a while, but when you're doing it every day, it's just exhausting. And if you're coming from an area where you're already doing that drive and that commute, we're trying to do something different out here. So really think about that and think about the quality of life that you want to have as it relates to your commute into town. Now, if you are planning on working closer to the Domain is about 15 to 20 minutes north of downtown. So you could easily have that 30-minute commute if you're working at the Domain and you're checking out the new construction areas in Leander, Liberty Hill, and Georgetown. I'm going to pull up a map of all these places in a minute so you can really see what I'm talking about. So really, like I said, it depends on where your office is going to be and how frequently you'll have to go in there to figure out what would be a reasonable commute for you and where those locations are at. So here's a brief description of some of the areas that we've talked about. I'm going to start with Lakeway because it's very distinct and people ask me a lot of questions about it. So here are the basics that you need to know. Lakeway is very close to the water. It's got beautiful topography. It's gorgeous rolling hills. There's trees everywhere. There's a lot of golf and tennis there. and it can feel kind of country clubby because there are a lot of country clubs there. So if that vibe specifically is what you're looking for, you want to live close to golf, you feel like you're going to golf a lot, or you just want to be in that area for networking purposes and growing, like building relationships, awesome. Lakeway is a really great place to do that. It's also one of the most expensive areas in Austin because of all those factors, because the topography and the houses are gorgeous and the golf and the tennis and all those things. Like it's a highly sought after area in Austin. So if you're looking for new construction, you want to just move into a house that's totally done. Maybe you just have to paint because you don't like the color white the builders put on the walls. The best area, in my opinion, is Liberty Hill, Georgetown, Leander area. So there's so much growth going on right now, and they've been building these areas out for really a couple years. It just has been a little bit sleepy about it. There hasn't been a whole lot of stuff in the press, but now there's just so much growth going on, and the commercial industry is finally catching up with it. So they're building strip malls, and we've got HEBs and car washes and coffee shops and insurance agents' offices and things like that. Like that's being built out in Liberty Hill right now. But for the past year or so, 2 years that I've been driving clients up there and checking on new construction, I've literally watched it go from farmland to, oh my gosh, now it's a city. So I really like this area because there's so much more growth coming to it. If you've heard me talk at all about the North Line, that's coming to Leander. It's going to be a brand new train station. It's going to be very similar to the Domain as far as it being like a live, work, play area. And there's like 3 or 4 other live, work, play areas coming to the Liberty Hill, Leander, Georgetown area. Most of the new construction communities are going to have pools, parks, playgrounds, trails, and they really want to foster a community environment for you to get to know your neighbors. So they host a lot of neighborhood events and movies in the park and food truck days and things like that. So I really like what they're doing with the new construction in that whole area. There's also new construction going on that's a little bit closer to town. It's on the east side, and that's in this area of like Hutto, Pflugerville, Boehner, and Elgin. There's a lot of growth going on there too, but just not as much as what's happening in that Leander area. Like everything is going to explode in Leander. There's going to be some growth on the east side in like Hutto, Pflugerville, Boehner, and Elgin, but just not as much as in those other areas. Okay, and let's talk about Round Rock Cedar Park. So I get a lot of questions about this as well because it's still kind of slept on. Like there's really no new construction going on. Cedar Park has been completely built out. Round Rock has been for the most part, but there's still some pockets here and there where they're like, oh my gosh, there's not a neighborhood here. Let's put one. So that's kind of the only new construction that's going on in Round Rock right now. They're very similar communities, but they do have different feels and vibes. So I'm partial to Cedar Park. Like it's called Cedar Park for a reason. There's tons of trees there. It's very green. It feels really homey and community-like. Round Rock to me feels a little bit more concrete, and they've got more of like big box stores and restaurants and just like development and sprawl. So if you want to be close to all those things, Round Rock is the place to go. Cedar Park, I feel like has more kind of independent restaurants and shops and mom and pop stores, things like that. So both communities are going to have older homes anywhere from like 5 years old to 25 years old. These are already established communities. So the shops have been built, the grocery stores, the coffee shops, all those things. Like there's not really a lot of room or new development going on in general in those areas. Cedar Park is experiencing a little bit more growth right now as Leander grows because Cedar Park and Leander kind of like meld together. But overall, like everything's already developed there. Everything is going to be 5 to 10 minutes away from wherever you live in Cedar Park and Round Rock. And most of these neighborhoods and homes in Cedar Park and Round Rock, at least in the planned communities, they've got the same thing that the new construction ones do. They've got pools and trails and parks and playgrounds. If your neighborhood doesn't have it, there's like a public pool that's really close by. So again, there's like a lot of amenities that are already built out in Cedar Park and Round Rock, so you don't have to drive 15, 20 minutes to get to anything. So another really important question to consider is, what are you looking for in your actual home, like in the actual house? Are you looking for new construction or something that's been recently built? Or what I really mean is, are you looking for something that's not a fixer-upper, doesn't need any major renovations? Maybe you can paint, come in, maybe you can like replace the carpet or something, but other than that, you just want to move into it. Most of the folks that I help move to Austin, that's kind of what they're looking for. They're not looking for a fix and flip. They're not looking for a project. Most of the folks moving out here are coming out for work. They're coming out to live kind of a slower lifestyle than in New York or California. And they just don't want to do any of the work. So if that's what you're looking for, just keep that in mind. We talked about most of the homes in Austin are anywhere from completely like a time capsule, have been preserved since they were built in 1957, all the way up to have been totally torn down and just new houses built on the land. So there's definitely a very wide spectrum for the level of updating and renovating that's happened for houses in Austin proper. So if you know you want new construction, check out some of those new construction areas that I mentioned up in Leander, Liberty Hill, Georgetown, or a little bit to the further east, like Hutto, Manor, and Elgin. Just depends on what like state you want the house to be in and how close you want to be to town. Another factor is how big of a lot are you considering? If you want a large lot, if you want a small lot, most of the new construction homes are going to be on smaller lots. So if you want a bigger lot, that's going to be probably an older home, either in Cedar Park, Round Rock, Lakeway, Austin proper, pretty much like anywhere that's not new construction. There are bigger lots in new construction. They just come with a higher price tag. So it's something to keep in mind. If you want a bigger lot, and you have a certain price range, some of those factors are going to be limiting. So new construction homes have lots anywhere from like 5,400 square feet to 12,000 square feet. It just depends, like I said, on the community and the price range. In general, older homes are going to have larger lots, and they're going to have like bigger mature trees, landscaping, all those things. Are you looking for like beautiful views of the hill country? You are not going to find that in like Round Rock. You're not going to find that in Hutto. That's going to be more in a Lakeway community, some places in Leander, some places downtown or in Austin proper. But there are some areas of Austin that are just like flat. Like mostly to the east, it's pretty flat. So if you're looking for those views, you're going to look a little bit further west. So, do you want a home that has water access or is close to the water, has a view of the water or is waterfront? That's going to be on the west in the Lakeway area. You're not going to find anything like that up north or to the east. If that is the number one priority, then that's where we're going to be looking. There are a few homes in downtown Austin, like around Zilker and around Mount Bonnell, and just like places that are close to the river where you can find that. We just need to talk about price, which is another big factor. So square footage too is something to consider. We talked about how homes in Austin proper are going to be fairly small. Most of the homes are going to be like 900 to 1,500 square feet. A big home in Austin proper is going to be about 2,100 square feet. That's a big home. So if that is small to you, then Austin proper is probably not the best place for you to look for homes. Obviously, there are exceptions. There's like a 4,000 square foot house that just sold for $4 million. So we can get you what you want. Just a matter of the other factors that come into play as well, as far as like price, location, features in the home, things like that. Are you looking for 1 to 2 stories? Do you know how many bedrooms you want? Are you looking for a pool? Most of the people that are coming out here specify that they want a garage. Just FYI, most homes in Austin outside of Austin proper are going to have at least a 2-car garage. Within Austin proper, they may have a carport or there may be street parking. You may not have a garage at all, but most of the plain neighborhoods in the suburbs and areas outside of Austin, you're going to have a garage. Also, FYI, homes in Austin do not have basements. Some may have like a crawl space. I was in a house a couple weeks ago that was like on a hill. And so it had this like huge, gorgeous crawl space underneath that they kind of turned into a basement. It was very dry. Honestly, it could have been like a wine cellar or a cheese cellar or something like that. But that's very rare. And this crawl space wasn't even enclosed. Like, you wouldn't really want to keep anything valuable down there. But FYI, like, there are no homes in Austin with crawl spaces or with basements. So if you're thinking about storage, we need to look at the closets in the house. We need to look at the attics, things like that. Okay, and the last thing that we haven't talked about yet is price range. So what is your ideal price range? What are you comfortable paying for the house? I don't need to know anything about your finances. I don't need to know anything about that. I just need to give me a range of how much are you comfortable paying for the house at the end of the day. This is going to be a major determining factor. So we talked about other things like your commute, how far you want to be from work, the things that you want to do, the features that you're looking for in the house. The last like major criteria that is going to determine what house we're going to get is the price. So homes in Lakeway are some of the most expensive homes in Austin, but the homes in Austin proper are the most expensive per square foot. So usually as a general rule, the further away you get from Austin, the more affordable homes will be. So if we compare that to homes in Round Rock, Cedar Park, and Leander, those homes are selling for about $245 a square foot, which is literally like half the rate. So just to give you an idea of how much money you're going to save if you're moving a little bit further outside of Austin. So when I'm helping someone buy a house and we're not really finding anything that's matching all the criteria, there's really only three things that we can change. We can change the price range, we can change the location, and we can change what you're looking for in the house. So if the price is solid, okay, cool, we're not changing that. Then let's look at location. Can we move to a different location? Or let's look at what are you looking for in a house? Do you need that big of a lot? Do you need that many bedrooms? Do you need the view? Do you need these things? If those things are not negotiable, okay, then we're gonna have to pull another lever. So it's really the price range, the location, and the features that we're looking for in a house. If we can't find what we want, we're gonna have to change one of those things. And magically, all these houses are gonna appear. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was here. So there is a lot that goes into figuring out where you want to live when you're moving to Austin, especially if you've never been here before, or maybe you've come here on like a work conference, you stayed for a day and you had dinner downtown and that's it. So one of the best ways to figure out where you want to be is to talk to someone that lives here. And I don't mean someone that just moved here like 6 months ago and is a veteran compared to you. Someone who knows the area, who's lived here, who's familiar with the real estate market. You really want to get a good idea for the different areas, what kind of growth is going on, and all those good things to help you figure out where is the right place for you. And if you have any questions at all about moving to Austin, I've got a link in the description. Book a call with me. I would love to help you figure all of this out. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.